Hey everyone, today we're going to go ahead and create a box and whisker plot. Now today's example, it says the monthly income teenagers earn from babysitting is shown right over here. And they ask us to go ahead and display this data in a box and whisker plot. Now the first thing that I notice is that our data is not in order from least to greatest, so that's the first thing that I'm going to do, and I've already did that right over here. So now I put my data in order from least to greatest, and now I could go ahead and fill in the missing information. So to fill in the missing information, the first thing I notice is the median, and that's the first thing that I need to go ahead and find. Now the median is our middle number, so I'm just going to go ahead and work my way in towards the middle. So I have my first number and my last number, my first and my last, first and last, and I just keep going in until I have my middle number. Now the middle number that we have here, as we can see, is 36. So this 36 is our median, so I'll just go ahead and put an M for a median, and I'll put it in my blank. Now we need to go ahead and find our two quartiles. Our upper quartile means that we're going to find the median of the upper half of our data, and that means from 41 to 72. And to find our lower quartile, we're going to go ahead and focus on our lower half of our data. So that means from 18 to 33. So notice here we did not include our median. We never include our median when we're looking for our two quartiles. So when I go ahead and look for my upper quartile, I can see right away that it's the median of the upper half. So we could go ahead and call that the UQT, or the UQ, which is the upper quartile. We'll just go ahead and label that 53. And again, it's the median of that upper half. So the lower quartile means it's the median of the lower half, which is right in the middle, and we can see that right away, which is 25. So the lower quartile, LQ or LQT, is going to be 25. Then we have two more items, which is called our upper extreme and our lower extreme. Now when I say the extreme, I'm talking about to the outer limit. So that means our upper extreme will be our most outer limit, which is 72, and we could go ahead and label it as UE for upper extreme. So that's going to be 72. And our lowest limit, or our lower extreme, is going to be this 18 right here, and that's going to be labeled as LE. So that's going to be our lower extreme. Now to go ahead and calculate the range, what we need to do is we need to take our upper extreme minus our lower extreme. It's our largest number minus our smallest number. So that means I'm going to go ahead and take my 72, and I'm going to subtract 18. And if I subtract 72 minus 18, that's going to give me 54. So I do know that the range of my data is going to be 54 units. And the interquartile range is our upper quartile minus our lower quartile. So I'm going to take my upper quartile is 53, and I'm going to go ahead and subtract it with my lower quartile, which is 25, and if I subtract the two numbers, that's going to give me 28. With this information, I can now go ahead and graph my box and whisker plot, and I actually only need 5 of these numbers here. The 5 things that I do need is the median, the upper quartile, and the lower quartile, and my upper extreme and my lower extreme. Those are the 5 things that I need to go ahead and graph to create my box and whisker plot. So I'm just going to go ahead and graph those 5 items. Now, it doesn't matter what order I graph them in. So the median right here is 36. So, well, here's 35. So a little bit over is going to be our 36. So I'm just going to go ahead and plot a point. And notice that I put my point above the number line. I'm just going to put an M there to represent my median. My upper quartile is 53, so I'm going to go over to 53. Well, here's 50, here's 55, so 53 is somewhere here in the middle. I'm going to label that UQ. You can label it UQT. Actually, let's put in a T to be consistent. And then I have 25 at my lower quartile. Well, 25 is right over here. I'll label that LQT. And then I have my two extremes. My upper extreme is 72. Well, here's 70, here's 75. So 72 is somewhere near the middle. That's going to be my upper extreme, so I'm going to label that UE. And my lower extreme is 18, which is somewhere right over here. And I'll label it LE. Now to create the box and whisker plot, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create my whiskers. That's usually the easiest thing to do first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and connect my lower extreme with my lower quartile. with a horizontal line. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to do the upper extreme to the upper quartile. These are my whiskers. Now my boxes are in the middle, so the boxes are from my quartiles to my median. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a rectangle which represents my box, and that's going to be my first box. And then I'm going to go ahead and create another one on the other side from my median to my upper quartile. That's going to be my other box, and that's why it's called a box and whisker. We have our two boxes in the middle, and then we have our whiskers on the ends. All we got to do now is just go ahead and label it. We'll go ahead and put our title. Our title is going to be our monthly income of babysitters. Monthly income of babysitters. And we can go ahead and put in our label down here. This is how much money they make, so we'll just go ahead and write down money in dollars. And there's our box and whisker plot. Now some of you guys may be asking, well, where's the range and where's the interquartile range? Well, the range is basically the distance from the lower extreme to the upper extreme. So that's going to be a total of 54 units. So this right here would be our range. So this is our range, which is a total of 54 units. And our interquartile range is basically the distance between the two quartiles, which means it's this entire part right here. So this is the interquartile range. So I'm going to call it the IQTR. So the interquartile range is basically all of this information in the middle portion of our data. I hope this helped you create a box and whisker plot. If you have any questions or comments, please leave some below. Like this if you like it. Otherwise, good luck, enjoy, and have fun.